Hello everyone, these are 5 true, scary, terrifying stories to keep you up at night. Number 1. I was about 4 or 5 years old and my parents had just separated. My mum was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. I had my own room, but I preferred to sleep in a bed whenever I was staying with her. Our 2 bedrooms were at the end of a hallway directly across from each other. Our apartment was on the first floor, and I remember that it was in the middle of the summer and my mum had a window open in her room, which was directly behind the bed, above the headboard. Anyways, I woke up in the middle of the night and remember sitting up and seeing that our cat was sitting in the doorframe of my mum's room. Her door was open and you could partially see into my bedroom. This was strange because our cat was typically always in bed with us. As I was watching him, he walked into my bedroom and meowed. I turned to face my mum and wake her up. In the 3-4 seconds it took her to wake up and ask me what was wrong, we both looked back up in the doorframe and there was a man standing by my open door, making his way out of my bedroom. I still don't know how she managed to do it so quickly, but my mother proceeded to pick me up and literally threw me out of the screen window. Again, we were on the first floor and it was maybe a 3-foot drop to the ground. She quickly followed and we were able to start screaming for help and someone called 911. The police came but didn't see any signs of forced entry. Only that our front door was unlocked, which led them to believe the man must have exited that way. The strange thing was that my mum swore up and down that she had locked the door that night with a deadbolt and a chain lock. About a week later, she was cleaning the kitchen and opened up our water heater closet and found a notebook with names and drawings, as well as a pair of gloves and some gum wrappers. The police were called again, but all they could do was speculate that the man had been in our house and hid until we were asleep. Number 2. My sister and I were playing outside when we were younger and an elderly couple was walking by our yard. Our yard had a cemetery in the back, so it was quite a common local attraction for tourists, as this house was built in the 1800s and most of the graves were from children who died back then from the flu. There are some creepy stories from that place, but nothing lives up to what happened all those years ago. Playing outside, and this old couple kept bugging my sister about what her name was as they approached us and got closer. We were just little kids and got terribly scared and ran inside and told our mum what had happened. The following week, I heard a story on the news about an elderly couple approaching a teenage girl, kidnapping her and raping her, and it was the same couple that had approached my sister and I. I still get creeped out by that. Number 3. This literally just happened tonight and I'm still freaking out. I will try to explain this as best as I can without skipping important details. My mind is racing, so please bear with me. Today, my fiancé and I spent the day with family members about 2 hours from home. We left their house at about 9 p.m. They live pretty much in the middle of nowhere. The roads around there don't have much traffic, especially at night. We come to a large cornfield, no house in sight. A man was standing on the side of the road, looking towards the cornfield. He wasn't wearing a shirt. He had a dirty, bloody looking rag tied on his upper arm and was holding a gun. The speed limit on this road is 30 miles, so we weren't driving very fast. As we passed this guy, he starts chasing our car. We heard a loud pop noise and realized it was a gun, so my fiancé floored it and tried to get out of there as soon as possible. About 5 minutes later, a truck comes up behind us. I got a little nervous but just assumed I was being paranoid. But no. This truck starts chasing our car and turning the headlights on high and low beam over and over. No matter how much we sped up, this truck sped up also. There were plenty of times this truck could pass legally, but didn't. This truck followed us for 30 minutes. As this was going on, we were debating if we should pull over, go home, or go to a police station. We make it to a small town and the truck starts to back off a bit. Then once we hit another back road, he inched back up to us. Then all of a sudden, the truck headlights turned off but kept following us. I look away for less than a minute to get into my purse to get my phone, and I look back and the truck was gone. Neither of us saw where the truck went, so we decided to drive to a 24-hour grocery store and wait for an hour before heading home. I am still shaking and panicking. I know I should probably go to the police, but all we have is a slight description of the man. We couldn't get the license plate number because it was too dark, but I'm not even sure if it had one in the front. I am also afraid the cops won't believe a crazy story like this. My fiancé is keeping his gun next to the bed tonight, and I have a knife, but I'm still freaked out. Number 4. My mum was 16 and in high school, in the late 70s. It was summer, so she and one of her friends went on a bike ride, about a mile from home. On their way back, they were only a neighborhood away from my grandparents' house, so they decided to take a little rest on the side of the road before going home. They were sitting there talking, and a guy in a red car pulled up to them on the road and asked them something. He was mumbling, so my mum's friend got up and walked a little bit closer to hear what the guy was saying, but not close enough that he would have been able to grab her. The guy asked for directions or something, and as my mum's friend walked up closer, she could see inside the car and silently panicked as she talked to this guy. She pretended like she needed to ask my mum a question and turned around. She was shaking and began mouthing silently to my mum that they needed to leave and fast. At that moment, someone came out of the house they were in front of and the guy sped off. My mum and her friend raced off towards my grandparents' house. The guy in the car was at least 28, if not older, and was driving completely naked, with a very large kitchen knife within reach on the passenger seat next to him. Who knows what would have happened if the owner of that house didn't come out into the yard. Number 5. This happened when I was maybe 2 or 3, and I can remember that far back, but there is one thing throughout my encounter that is hazy. My family moved a lot. We went to many places, and a lot of them were safe due to the fact that we were on base. But this particular airport was not as safe as we had thought. I remember we had been in the Middle East and we were moving back home. During this time, as a toddler, I wouldn't sit down and I was playing and running all over the place, completely unaware of my surroundings. To give a small visual, there was a bench that faced a small bathroom in front of us, with a poorly lit entrance that first faced the wall, and then you had to turn into the bathroom. I think it was a bathroom, or perhaps stairs. This is where it gets hazy. A very angry looking man came out of the bathroom and grabbed my arm very hard, pulling me towards him. From my memory, I remember hanging onto the bench and screaming for my mum, and her gone as I held on for my life. What my mum tells me though is that she was sitting in that bench, as when he came, she pulled my other arm, and it was very similar to a tug of war. After a few seconds of yelling, my mum in English and him in Arabic, he let go and disappeared from where he came from. I don't remember anything after that, but it is one memory that is ingrained in my mind and has taught me to be extra cautious at a young age. I am super grateful my mum was there and that I was lucky enough to be near her and in her line of view, especially because if she turned around for a split second, I would have most likely been gone. I still get chills to this day thinking about it. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And remember, it can happen to anybody, including you. Sweet dreams.